Sonic, you ever heard of this guy? He's really fast. I will never find anything faster than him. Maybe my sanity going away after playing Metropolis and Labyrinth Zone. And to those people that came up with that, I have weapons here.
Sonic, good 2D games, sometimes good 3D games. Sonic Spinball.
I feel like I'm on acid.
It's a franchise with a blue hedgehog going fast and killing an egg, and it's accompanied by a fox with 2 tails, because why not? And this red thing was against the hedgehog and fox because the egg is very manipulative, and has a ship called the Death Egg. Man, the series has logic. How the heck did this meeting go to get this thing greenlit?
Picture this. Hedgehog fast. You're a genius.
Yeah, this series can be convoluted, but it can tell a pretty good story backed with gameplay. And the gameplay is mostly fun. We'll get to the obvious not fun stuff soon. But yeah, it's a very fun series, and it undoubtedly hit its peak on the Sega Genesis. So way back when, in the early 1990s, Sega was looking for a new mascot to sell on the new console, the Sega Genesis. And other potential mascots that are banking on with the previous system, Master System, such as Alex Kidd, weren't really captivating people. But what system that displays graph paper with characters on it on their cover is going to captivate people?
I can't tell if I'm going to play a game or draw a coordinate plane.
So they had a company-wide design contest for who they knew would launch Sega into stardom. Multiple designs were drawn, such as who would end up being the main villain and various other animals. But that is until they settled on a blue hedgehog. It had shoes inspired by Michael Jackson, and keep that in mind because we will come back to his involvement in Sonic later. And oddly, his attitude was inspired by Bill Clinton, because I can see this thing being in office.
I'd vote for him.
Some ideas were scrapped, such as Spiky here. Yeah, put that on the cover. All 7 billion people on Earth are gonna buy that crap. Him in a rock band and having a human girlfriend, which was scrapped until someone at Sega got drunk and didn't see what was wrong with that idea and added it into Sonic 06.
The human race is fleeting.
And thus, the game went into development with only 8 people working on it, so it was generally much more tricky because of the time they had. But the game did end up getting finished, and Sega knew what they had could rival Mario. And right they were, because as soon as it came out, it was a phenomenal system seller, taking the Genesis past Nintendo's console, the SNES at the time. The SNES would prevail in the end, but it was a pretty tense battle. It really let Nintendo know that they had to take their competition seriously, instead of just thinking they can win the war by a long shot each time. So today, we'll be looking at each mainline Sonic game on the Genesis, to see how they held up today.
I can already provide a spoiler. He's gonna say Sonic 1 didn't.
Okay, maybe that is my opinion, but I will be less harsh than what she's putting on.
But there are still parts of Sonic 1 that are fate worse than death.
Oh, 100%.
The game is 6 zones long, with 3 acts in each, and let me just say, 3 acts is too much. Like, yeah, it does provide more gameplay, but it allows some zones to overstay their welcome, and really makes the more infuriating ones that much more infuriating, and make it feel like I'm just in eternal pain, like this is more tough to sit through than where Satan lives. So we started with Green Hill Zone, and there's a reason why this is so iconic, and it's because it embraces what is a staple of Sonic, and has you, going fast, and adding clever platforming along with it. And you might think, why would it not have that? But if you do, you clearly know nothing about the first game. And the first Eggman fight is really easy, but I fail to not remember it as a memorable part of the stage, if you happen to avoid the ball and hit Eggman at the right time. It's basic, but is really good for a first fight. And the music, oh man, this is so good. Basically is as iconic as the overall theme from Mario 1, and it really is a good song showing off the capabilities of Genesis sound chip, which is much more crappier than SNES sound chip, but in a way it sounds better, and the less real sounds here, such as synths, sound really great throughout the game. And series as a whole, really. Now on to Marble Zone. It slows Sonic down way too much. And yes, there will be another zone coming up that slows him down even more, but here, it seems that the platforming is the main focus, and it just kind of goes against what Sonic was built behind. It does have platforming, but it's definitely not clever, it's just frustrating. The moving tubes, screw you. The moving blocks above lava, screw you. And yeah, this stopped me from beating the game the first time around. Yeah, the music's good, but it's always freaking good, so it doesn't save the stage as much as a whole. Overall, this sucks. Now on to Spring Yard. Yeah, I don't remember this one as much. The only thing I really remember about this one is the really freaking jazzy music. Oh yeah, that's really good. Well, but yeah, this is technically the first casino-themed Sonic level, and this is kind of the most meb one in the classic series. is definitely not bad, but I don't remember it much. In these platforms, yeah. So yeah, it does pick up speed a little bit, but it's certainly nowhere near Green Hill Zone. Next is Labyrinth Zone, and yeah, this sucks so much. Like really, this is a plane beyond heck!
Calm down, it isn't that bad.
It's underwater.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, this whole stage is underwater, which is already a bad sign, because look at any underwater level in a video game. And its controls, for most instances, it's pretty slow and clunky. And for Sonic, that's pretty bad. Because again, fast Hedgehog. And after a certain amount of time, you can even drown too! And yes, there are parts on land, but they're super slow, and the platforming's even more of a slog. You have to wait for these platforms to go up, and it's crazy how boring this is. And let me just get to the big thing. These spikes. No, really. These spikes. They come in when you don't expect it. Or very inconveniently. So if you get hit by them, have fun going down No Lives Avenue. And the Eggman fight? Again, the freaking spikes. And you have to chase them upwards and try to hit them. But the platform here makes it so hard. And everything about this zone is terrible. And then Starlight Zone, which is much better, but is nowhere close to Green Hill. The graphics are decent with it taking place during nighttime, and the music is still consistently great. The city theming is kinda cool. I mean, kind of city theming. I don't really know a city that's mostly green. When we get to the third act, we get to the Eggman fight. Yeah, it's throwing bombs to him, it's okay, but it's just kinda, eh. Now, Scrap Brain Zone is okay. I mean, it's kind of in this mechanical type area that's like a factory, but it's just kind of okay compared to the next zone that's coming up, but I mean, it's fine. But third act is a recoloring of Labyrinth, which is, it just sucks, man. It just sucks. So this one is kind of a better Labyrinth. And the final zone is the most elaborate, and I gotta say, it isn't bad, but it isn't good. So yeah, that's the first Sonic game. Is it good? I mean, it's technically not a bad game, but no, it's not a good game. Especially using the lenses of anything past Green Hill. And yes, Green Hill is really good, but the rest of the game either slows it down too much, or throws bafflingly infuriating platforming your way. So in my opinion, it's a 6 out of 10. Good, but bad.
Okay, Siri, you know what's next.
No, I don't.
What do you mean? I told you my plans for this video.
I wasn't even listening, lol.
Frick you.
Sonic 2. Now, most people would consider this a pretty big step up from Sonic 1, and most people is me. I mean, Sonic 2 had to happen. Sonic 1 was a big breakout success, selling the Genesis like hotcakes. So Sonic 2 wasn't actually the only Sonic being developed at the time, as another one was being developed at the time, Sonic CD. It was being made by the same people as Sonic 1, who were based in America, while Sonic 2 was made in Japan, so two separate Sonic games which could technically be considered the sequel to Sonic 1 were being made at the same time. That's not confusing at all. We'll talk about which one is the true sequel in my opinion in some time, but for now, let's talk about Sonic 2. One big new mechanic is a sidekick named Tails, who helps you along your adventure. He can be a help at some points, not so much at others, but he's a welcome addition all things considered. Another big thing is that each zone, except for Metropolis Zone, but we'll get to that one in a bit. That's great, because Sonic 1 became sometimes a little too exhausting after its third act, especially for the more mind-boggling levels. And in terms of graphics, Sonic has been made more saturated, and that's much more fitting because Sonic's sprite in the first game is a little dull, but it's a pretty small change. I don't even know why I'm mentioning it.
Yeah, Drew, why are you mentioning it?
Okay, sorry, I'm rabbit trailing. Let's get to the game.
So we start out with Emerald Hill Zone. And this does the same job as Green Hill, as it starts out the game with a similar theme. But even if it's similar to Green Hill, I wouldn't say it looms in the shadow of its more successful cousin too much. Its music, while not as great as Green Hill, is still great, and the platforming is a little bit more reserved than Green Hill, but still encapsulates a similar vibe. And the Eggman fight this time is basically defeating him in a helicopter car hybrid. Or at least I think it's kind of like that, I don't know. And it's a great starting point, and it shows that this man may be an egg, but his brain is small, because every plan he makes inevitably fails, but he can make elaborate creations. chemical plant just goes to show that this game spits in the face of Sonic 1 slowing the game down, as this stage is a masterclass in speed. And the scene being a power plant is very cool. Even if this water rising being a huge freaking scare to most Sonic fans, I'm pretty sure many still have PTSD from this moment.
I'm pretty sure most Sonic fans already have PTSD anyway.
It's still a fun, challenging obstacle. It doesn't slow down Sonic too much that it's an absolute buzzkill. And the Eggman fight, while easy to cheese, is still cool, with the ground rotating and Eggman dropping down, I guess. These things, it's fun, I swear. Aquatic Ruin Zone slows it down a little bit, with it being half underwater and half above ground. Again, doesn't slow it down too bad. That rewards speed, because if you're fast enough and time your jumps well enough, you can stay on land most of the time. But if you're too slow, then welcome to Ocean Avenue. And the Eggman fight took me so long to figure out in first playthrough. You have to get to the top of these pillars, and you have to avoid arrows as they're being fired, and God forbid, this nearly cost me the game. But I did it, and I'm so happy for myself.
I would have figured that out quicker than you.
How? You don't have hands.
Believe my life goals.
Well, I can't believe in those that involve you having hands, because those won't be fulfilled.
Shut up.
You're just a ray of sunshine, aren't you?
Casino Night. This is much better than Spring Yard. First off, this is much more like a casino would feel. The music, the city background, it all feels as though we're in some kind of Sonic casino. And specifically Sonic, because if I walk into a casino, it would not be like this. It just wouldn't. And the ending Eggman boss fight isn't a pinball machine. And it's kind of infuriating on first try for me, at least with Eggman being some kind of electric claw machine. Hilltop Zone is like if you took Emerald Hill and Marble Zone and combined them, but remove the slowness of Marble instead for the platforming and inner mountain of it, along with the definite hill theming, almost reminiscent of Emerald or Green Hill. And the Eggman fight is him in some kind of tank helicopter. But yeah, it's a pretty decent stage all around. Mystic Cave is a Sonic stage in a mine, and it's pretty good, with music being just, so good. And these vine segments not being too excruciatingly hard. And Eggman in this stage is trying to drill us to death. Christ, if him trying to claw us into an electric claw machine wasn't bad, imagine being drilled into. Holy crap. Oil Ocean Zone is where the game starts to falter. First off, the platforming can be kind of slow, and the fact that it's so sporadic are just kind of not really a good addition to it. I kind of like the theme though, with it being Harbor, I approve. Eggman makes, I don't even know what to call this, a snake gun? Yeah, let's go with that. And it's okay, it's definitely not as good as being drilled into. Metropolis Zone sucks so much. Firstly, this star who shoots sucks. Basically, the whole platforming in this level sucks. These screws that come up and hit spikes when you're not expecting it so sucks. This has probably caused my death the most. Oh, and I'm not done. There's 3 acts instead of 2, which makes this one even more infuriating. Oh my god. This sucks. Like, yeah, the theming and music is pretty good, but look at all the cons. It's clear the zone is bad. Sky Chase Zone, where you're on this plane, again, slows it down, and the controls kinda suck. Wing Fortress Zone is just kind of a meh transitional zone. Nothing more to say than ship, I think. And why the heck did you leave me, Tails? And the Eggman fight sucks, because of the spikes and the fact that the egg ship is at the ceiling. What the crap? And finally, Death Egg Zone. And first, Metal Sonic before Metal Sonic was introduced in Sonic CD. Kinda cool, but that's all that's cool about it. The Eggbot boss screams Sonic 1 with how bullcrap it is. The ending is fine where Tails saves you from dying, and that's really it. Sonic 2 is good, but it could be better. And the final few zones, docket points. Conclude that Sonic 2 is better than Sonic 1, but definitely not all perfect.
Alright, Siri, ever heard of CDs?
Yeah. But what does that have to do with Sonic?
I mentioned it a bit back. Were you not listening then either?
No.
Alright, let's just move on.
Sonic CD came out on the Sega CD, the Genesis add-on though. It's just kind of mediocre, with it only really having interactive Telltale-esque games. And most of them, yeah, weren't that great. But the major release on the Sega CD was Sonic CD. And before we start, why was this only on the Sega CD? I just don't see the point when the only thing that takes advantage of it is the intro and outro. And in later releases, they look pretty good, but on the Sega CD,
I feel like I'm on acid.
so if that's it, then what's the point? Okay, since that's out of the way, let's get to the game. So yeah, remember how I said the same people who made Sonic 1 made this game too? Well, that's really gonna show in a second. First of all, Tails is gone. Why did you leave me, Tails? At least put up a missing sign or something. Why are you not concerned, Sonic? Second, time travel. Yes, you can go to the past and future and see what the stage looks like at certain points in time. Can be cool because it changes the platforming and aesthetics, but it's way less cool with the stages in this game than something like Sonic 2, and you'll see why in a bit. And third, we're back to 3 acts.
Life is pain.
And finally, the soundtracks are different depending on which place you live, so now into the levels themselves. Start out with Palm Tree Panickin'. This is decent. It does not match the highs of Green Hill and Emerald Hill, but it's alright, and its ancient prehistoric theming in the past is pretty sick. But the texturing is kind of blocky, and that's kind of weird for Sonic because of how graphically good it's looked in the past. But it's not the worst I've seen in Sonic's history, I'm just going to leave it at that. One pro I will give it is that, yeah, it's fast, and it doesn't actually lose too much momentum after this. And the Eggman boss fight to begin, he's fine. Not the best, especially compared to Sonic 1 and 2's beginning fights, and it's easy to cheese. One thing I want to mention about the Eggman boss fights is that the music is dramatically different between regions. In the European/Japanese version, it's funky as all heck. It's great, but in America...
Are you okay?
Nope, I'm deleting this game. No, no.
What I will say about it is this makes Eggman seem like a genuine threat. Even in the European version, there's kind of something off, like there's a funky bass line to the lyrics "Work that sucker to death" in context of Eggman having motives of, working that sucker to death. So now, Collision Chaos. You're introduced to what Sonic's mission in this game is. To save Amy, who looks kind of different here, wow. And guess what? Save Amy. You never would have known that if I just said it right there. And what was Metal Mario introduced? Super Mario 64. This game came out 3 years earlier. Look, I'm not saying Nintendo copied Sega, but
Is Metal Mario a machine?
Okay, there is a difference, but I don't really know what Metal Mario
Is he a machine, or is it Mario molded into metal?
Are they some type of species?
How are they born then?
I don't know.
How would they be able to live?
Would they have to eat?
But yeah, the level itself is kind of sporadic in its platforming, and you could say that's because it's kind of a casino level, but not really. Like these pink lands, I would not expect to gamble here. Logistically, it just makes no sense. Like, I just don't really care to see the past and future version of the stage because of how random it is. I don't know if this is a pink hill, a casino, or a city. I just don't get it. Some of this makes this level and game as a whole fun, but I really don't know why. And the Eggman fight, I'm not gonna lie, I like it. Because it's a tougher, more fever-dreamish version of that pinball fight from Sonic 2. So take that and make it so much more complicated and confusing, and double that with the music. You're getting an anxiety-inducing Sonic experience. I approve of how bullcrap this is. Tidal Tempest is like Labyrinth Zone, but a little more tolerated. Like, the spikes are still here, but the water segments are a little more few and far between, especially if you time travel. And speaking of time traveling, it turns into a power plant in the past. How cool is that? In the Eggman fight, you have to get rid of all these bubbles, and I'm not a big fan, just because it's kind of monotonous, especially underwater. And them shooting you before being able to even get the bubbles is a real fist shaker, man. Chord Zone is like Mystic Zone, but
The sentence is over.
okay, when you time travel, it's either an ancient wildland area or a more futuristic factory place. It's basically a more confusing Mystic normally. And the Eggman fight is dog crap. Like, you have to avoid these drawing balls on a conveyor belt and somehow hit Eggman. I hate this so much because the balls normally split into multiple ones, and it's rage-inducing when you get hit by one. In short, this sucks. And long, it sucks so much. Please help, I don't want to keep playing this, God! Wacky Workbench is like some kind of factory, and this is the one where the past and future element is pretty interesting, because it's more of a factory in the future. And in the past, it looks like the sewers of New Donk City from Mario Odyssey, kinda. I'll tell you what's not to love, the Eggman fight, because you have to get on the right platform, or die. Stardust Speedway is kinda cool, because it's some kind of gold circuit. I don't really know what to call it, but I like it. And honestly, it's kind of like Chemical Plant without the purple liquid, and it's pretty good. And the race against Metal Sonic, this is great. The race is pretty exciting and intense, too. I approve hard. The futuristic stage, God, stop. And the Eggman fight is okay. That's where this game ends, though. The ending cinematic is cool, but yeah, that's where we end it. This game is full of sporadic platforming, so when they heard, hey, you want to go fast, I went, okay, it made it too fast and confusing. So yeah, this game is better than Sonic 1, but worse than Sonic 2. Definitely not the true sequel. 7 out of 10.
Okay, we're done with the fluff. Let's get to the best thing.
Spanish flu.
No, it's found scoliosis, and it's Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
I like Spanish flu more.
So, Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Wanna know why it's called that? Because originally there were 2 separate games, and you wanna know why Sega did that? Because Sega wanted to get Sonic 3 out in time for McDonald's promotion, instead of giving them time.
Sega was already pulling a Sonic 06 from day one.
So apart, they're good, but kinda hollow, but together, they're an excellent 2D platformer, and probably my favorite in the genre. And it was all possible to the lock-on cartridge of Sonic and Knuckles, and if you put Sonic 3 into this special cartridge, you get the magnum opus of the classic Sonic series. First off, back to 2 acts, thank God. And plus there's more levels, so more variety and less fluff too, that's great. And, Michael Jackson. Yes, he had a part in composing the soundtrack, but he was left uncredited due to unknown reasons. He did leave the project at some point, so not all of this is by him, but it definitely has a lot of influence from him, and that's a plus. So now let's get to the game. We start off with Sonic and Tails flying out on a normal day, then Knuckles decides to try to murder him, and it's a pretty great way to introduce the story with no words. And the first stage is in a forest-like area called Angel Island Zone. This is already more aesthetically pleasing than anything in Sonic CD. If the backgrounds in Sonic 2 are good, look at this, holy crap! And in the second act, it starts to burn down, that's super cool! And before Eggman, you have to complete certain unique bosses in the first act, which is pretty cool. And also the transition between acts is seamless, with it just immediately going to the next act without any kind of fade. And the Eggman fight is back to being good, thank God. With him going behind the waterfall and back, it's a good start, definitely. And the transition to the next act is also seamless. And that's really good, because we know how we got from stage to stage, instead of just assuming we got there somehow. Hydrocity Zone is automatically the best water stage, because it actually retains speed, even underwater, and that's great. It's like a mix between Chemical Plant and Labyrinth, where it takes some of the same energy of Chemical Plant, and does something kind of similar to Labyrinth in its theming, and it's great. And the bosses consist of this guy throwing his missiles at you, and you having to hit him. Very basic, but good. And the Eggman fight has you trying to avoid being caught in these waves, it's also pretty fun. Marble Garden Zone. So take the above ground areas of Marble Zone and make them good, and you got this. And the end of the first act with its drill thing, I like, it's pretty cool. And then Eggman tries to drill you to death again, but this time the entire ground falls, what the heck? Carnival Night Zone. It's the best casino themed Sonic stage in the classic series, hands down. This goes all out in its carnival theme, with the same casino and pinball elements, and some parts did confuse me, but it's great, and it's a great example on Sonic 3 taking what Sonic 2 did and multiplied it times 10. The boss here did also confuse me because I didn't know that he could break all the blocks, and that caused my death multiple times, and I had literally no idea what to do, but I got it, and it's a good idea for a boss. Now the Eggman fight has him dropping down these balls, and I couldn't figure this out for the life of me. But I did, and I'm proud of myself. Ice Cap Zone is a very good snow level, and the aesthetic of this level is great, with it being completely frozen and some kind of ice cave. It's pretty cool. And these platforms, while confusing at first, do give a lot of speed if done right. And we go back above ground in Act 2, and this looks great, with the background looking so good. And the boss fight is one with Eggman, but with this guy and Snowballs, it's fine, but it's pretty similar to one with Eggman. And this one with Eggman is fine, but not the best. Now we have Launch Base Zone, and it's basically like the launch to the Death Egg, and I like it a good deal. And it definitely shows it with the platforming, and basically, it takes a rocket base, and combines it with Sonic.
And the second act has us getting into the egg and riding to the final boss of Sonic 3 before Knuckles. And it's kind of subpar for final boss, but since it's not meant to be, it's a good ending point that's kind of hard too. And now Mushroom Zone, and it's pretty great. With this mushroom forest area with vines too, it's great. And in the bosses, this guy throws the axis in the face. And in the Eggman boss fight, it's kind of cool because you jump over spikes, and it looks 3D-ish, but not quite, and I like it a good deal though. Flying Battery Zone is a ship, and it's way better than the one in Sonic 2, which will not be named. It is much better platforming, and the outside segments are challenging but fun, and the inside segments are also very clever. It's great. The boss fight is a fake out, with the end with a machine that dispenses the robot, but instead of letting you do what you should normally do, it turns into some spiked arm monster. It's really cool. The Eggman boss fight here is a better version of that one from Sonic CD, and that's it. Sandopolis Zone sucks. It's fine at some points, but at others, the sand is annoying. It makes stuff really slow. Did I mention the sand sucks? Bro, frick the sand.
I can't tell. Do you hate sand?
So much. In the second act, you have to escape ghosts, and the sand rises and closes in on you, and it sucks so much. I hate this stage. At least the bosses are kinda cool where you're fighting the Sandman. Look at him. What's not to like? And this one where Eggman is operating the statue. Those are the only redeeming qualities of this level. Everything else sucks. Lava Reef Zone is simple but fun. It takes place over lava and it's great. I like this a lot. This is a good kind of challenging, not like a level that goes sand, and then Opolis, then zone. And in the second act, it freezes up, which is super cool. The first boss fight is good, but the next one blows this one out of the water. It's back to the lava, and we have to race it. Then we fall down, and we have to hit it and avoid falling off these platforms. And it's really good. The Hidden Palace Zone kind of carries the same energy as Lava Reef Zone in the second act, but I wouldn't say it's a bad thing, because the palace theming I like a lot. And this is where Knuckles finally learns, hey, maybe Eggman isn't so good. And thanks, Knuckles, you're real bright for just figuring that out now. Now we're in Sky Sanctuary Zone. We're on the final stretch now. Here we go. It's a transitional zone to Death Egg, but it's good, and this platforming is really clever. And then we have Metal Sonic in the Egg Vehicle doing the same fight as Sonic 1. That's crazy! And then we fight him head on and defeat him. Okay, that's sad. And then Death Egg Zone. It can be pretty bullcrap, but it's kind of the good kind of challenging, especially because we are so close to the end. And then Eggman chases us both in the bot and on foot, and this is hard but appropriate as an ending. And if you get on the emeralds, there's an extra zone where you fly in the air as Supersonic and dodge all the obstacles in your way. And it's definitely not too game-changing, but a pretty cool bonus ending. And that was Sonic 3 Knuckles, and that was great! It's even faster, and has the smallest amount of fluff in the series, and overall, this game is amazing. So yeah, that's Sonic. It's a really fun platforming series. And yes, Mania will be a topic someday, but don't let me die from overwork. I've already put too much on my plate.
I wasn't listening the whole time.
Okay, time to call my therapist.